Hi, welcome back. I'm Brainerror, and today we are continuing Tiny Bunny, Tiny Bunny, Tiny Bunny. We had a lot of dialogue in the first episode, but now we finally get to make choices. So, we play as a little boy, we're 12 years old, and basically we heard about the disappearance of another little boy in the woods near our house. And we've been seeing some weird ass shit outside, right? We've just moved to this place, used to be in the city, now in rural. Of course, gonna be super spooky. Whether it's all in his head, whether he's just got a really vivid imagination, I don't know. But we'll just have to find out together. Mom said that we should stay inside. God, I cannot get that sentence to work in my head. She told us to stay inside. That's better. Well done, Dinny. So I might go under the cupboard. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? Trust me, if you have mice, you smell them. She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself in the freshly sharpened axe. Ooh. And Olia can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Papai is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Olia count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaking floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Oh, poor Olia. What happens if I go to the front yard? Mom's gonna shout at us, right? Anton! I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door. Mom, why is such an asshole? What's this? Oh, so I can look at these things. Oh, that's cool. This cross has seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black, as if absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place. But you just moved here, so how has it been there for forever? No. My parents prohibit me from making long-distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer, and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling in the ice-leaden chords. Well, you could always ask your friends to... What you could do is just make a deal with your parents if you're really low on money, because I understand, I grew up with like my parents being really, really tight, to put it lightly. So it's like... I mean, tight on money, not with me. They tried to give me as much as I could, and me and my brother. But things were really tight money-wise. So what you could do is just make a deal saying, can I call my friends once, explain them the situation, give your number, and say, could you please call me when possible? I would love to speak to you. I cannot call you because, you know, things are just a little bit rough at the moment. Hopefully they will call you once in a while. I know it's not the same as calling your friends, but at least you'll get some phone calls and you get chats and you get to hear them. Because it's not good for kids to suddenly be this isolated. Moving for kids is like traumatic as it is. So, you know, giving that stability, a little bit of that stability, familiarity would be really good. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking like some online shrink. Right. Mom's peg top, a family relic. My mom played with it when she was little. Then she gifted it to me. Olia was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something, a fairy tale, or maybe even her future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. I really like them. I used to have one of those. You have to push them in and then they start spinning. But I had a dreidel as well as a kid. That was one of my first spinning tops that I had, was a dreidel. And I only found out, through Game Grumps no less, about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago that dreidels are Jewish, which makes sense because we have a big Jewish population in the Netherlands. So, again, just something that you usually get with the holidays that are not actually from Christian origin, but Jewish. It's the same with those lights that have that represent the oh, I forgot the name for it again. I'm sure you'll let me know in the comments. I can see it in my mind's eye, but you know those little triangles with the candles on it, those lights, they're Jewish as well because they are representative of the candelabra that they have. Oh, what's it called? Oh, I hate it. It's quite a tricky word for me. I do keep on forgetting it, but I know it. I can see it in my head. I know what it is. I just don't know the name. I'm sorry. Alright, so where do we go? Kitchen then, I guess. Ah, Mom. She's a pretty but a little bit harsh. Pretty harsh. The side of an old ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings. Mum's recipes and all kinds of stickers from bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olia liked so much. Oh, I remember! The stickers you used to get with packets of gum. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me. Apart from the usual. Whew. Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us. First Lieutenant Tikhnikov. Was it Tikhnikov? I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned towards it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it would wait for its time when I would finally find Vova and be the first to call the police with the happy news. Anton! Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. What do you need it for? Hands off! You'll lose it. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted to do, so I lowered my hand. Mom, you gotta be nicer to your kids. They didn't ask for life, you know? So they could, he can only look, oh, there, calendar. Oh, and the radio. The decrepit and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without my help. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now. Since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions to be exact. I grabbed the dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a fairy. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. I crumpled the grey leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like ink stain on blotting paper. Right, hold on. Oh, I can't just click on it. Amercom of Russia was declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather's forecast, a cyclone is moving towards the region. Expect heavy snowfall, blizzards, and snowdrifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. I thought, oh, I guess that, I guess that was the radio. Just never mind. Let's just move on. Let's open the fridge. Oof. Okay, yeah. Oh, Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olia here, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. What is pelmeni? Gonna look at any other things? Monocle. Oh. Turn back then, I guess. But I can't go anywhere else. Wait, it has to be the kitchen. What else? Oh, puzzle. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and my dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters, the name of the Philistine deity. The name of the Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites had the nickname the Lord of the Flies. The second letter is E. Okay. Can I talk to Mom? Oh, I can. It was difficult to lie to Mom. I don't like that she just looks right into my soul. But there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim, and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. You're killing me here. So, have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? Told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find the TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe it's just the settings. Please, go see for yourself. Strange. It worked for me fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it? Mum rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olia's room. Escape! Front yard. Bye, Mom! Sorry. I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw the silhouettes around here. For a second I thought I hadn't pressed record, and that terrified me more than anything. They were jumping around, holding hands. The hypnotizing music started playing in my head, all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant, ringing in my ears. Distorted shadows, crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent, I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone, listening to them. I know that, bud. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before it departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olia present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with the dead cold eyes, who sometimes visited us in their previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything? And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my illusions, and looked around. There were only me, this wide field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun, turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. Oh. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird along the hungering semi-dark. Should I call the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still. Something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally towards the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped his wings loudly. Oh, no, no, no. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but then when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it wasn't my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. Oh! I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Ooh! Vova! Am I gonna die? A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Hello? I stepped towards the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. Oh god, it didn't budge. I pulled harder. The branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy. Wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. Blood? Well, shit. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Was it the bunny? Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone. Forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it! Don't stop! I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. 2 giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot. A wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry! Run! Don't look back! It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade even, didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in front of our yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave away. Oof, God, that was intense. The music didn't help. Whew. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. And what exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, a mere 5 meters away from my mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring. And with it the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same way as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her, like when I was very little, and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There was someone chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger and gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, you were scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me, like a bunny. And what if they're rabid? Or rabbit even, which I still don't understand the pronunciation of. The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olia? Mom? I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive! Huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this mitten? Of course! A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Mom, look! It's Vova's mitten! That boy the police were asking about in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away. Like the officer had told us to. Mom, look! Ew! A shadow of doubt slowly crept into Mom's contorted face, as if she was trying to remember something distant. Like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away. Stop it this moment! Olia will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. And you joke around like this? Oh, at that moment I realized the man was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy, who cried wolf. Oh, don't you stand there. Come take your pills. A golden-colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home and you... Dad would have given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with a similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all, just like the forest monsters and Olia's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See? You can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom. I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with her suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son, and not some doppelganger that came from the forest, from the Black Lodge. Is everything alright? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seems like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. The fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer, and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olia was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes, stopped before the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the different puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Javaras and... Lago? Is it Lago? Ego? Ego? I can't remember the parrot's name. Voices died down. Well, I know it in Dutch, just not in English. I walked past Olia's bedroom and slipped into my own. Okay. My Triceratops figurine. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs. Velociraptors, Afrovenators, Hypsilophodons. Hypsilophodons? I've never heard of that. I remember going to the movie to see Jurassic Park, back when we still lived in the city, and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. Oh my god, I would have absolutely died of happiness if there was an actual T-Rex at the cinema I went to see Jurassic Park when I was 12. Was it 12? I might have been younger. No, I was younger. I went with my dad and my brother. Don't ask me why they let my brother in. It turned his head and roared. It was awesome. And next to it was Robotech Transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up in the intro among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Centraedi space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle! I've dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest, especially like the big space-related edition with alien monsters and that funny episode about Gendarme? I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic. Hey, don't stop dreaming. Do it. The forest didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and the snowy field between our house and the forest brought sleepiness to my eyes. But sometimes I would still catch myself looking in the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. That would be me as well. Monster, Ghosts, UFOs. The Encyclopedia of Paranormal Phenomenon from Rosman Publishing. I've learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa Gorgon and Bigfoot from there. Ollie is always scared of the book. She could barely handle sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but the middle part where they started talking about ghosts really freaked her out. I even remember hunting ghosts after I read that book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening and checked if they moved due to some supernatural force from the morning. They didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper the ghost? I hope not. Casper was kinda lame. Yo! One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten in there. Hey, it might still be. Where are you, Fova? Achievement. The simple action drained the last bit of strength of me. Yeah, I don't know what your mom gave you. I don't like that she just medicated him, you know. You're being difficult. Here. Go to sleep. Even though it was during the day. I sat on the bed. And only then I noticed. There was someone behind the curtains. Is it Olia? My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The room's corners bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor, just like a savant of sorts. Olia? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried up lips. Yeah, Olia, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached towards the curtains. Ba-dum, ba-dum, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second I wanted to return to the bed, just to lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They were looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olia's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day and sunlight poured onto her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a child woven from light. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? Oh, what did you hide? She was just like Mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing, just... Olia ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, You stole something and hid it here? Are you a thief? What? No, don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure, standing behind the black trees. Olia could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me. Swear that you won't tell anyone? Then I'll show you. Olia wore a plotting smile. I swear on Mom's heart. An oath she heard in one of the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Don't say things like that. Olia nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olia leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw. A certain boy lost it, and got lost himself. Now, do you understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right?
He must be really cold out there. Will they find him?
They will. The police are going house to house, showing his photo to everyone. Olia traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window.
And why are they going houses and not to the forest? Are they scared?
The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did that appear later? For me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olia as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself. A lot of stuff, like in Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? Olia wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her.
What if the owl got him?
Nonsense, an owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. My brain is a bit overexerted, I think. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... How would I put it? It's cursed or something.
Just like in a fairy tale?
No, not like that. More like in that spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. Olia shivered and stole a glance at the window.
I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you?
No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom won't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone.
You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower. I can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here.
You're wrong. No one has ever died of boredom. And you have me, and your cartoons. And Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon.
You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to.
Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Olia giggled and tugged at my sleeve.
Tony, let's go watch Aladdin.
Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to.
Oh, come on. It's so boring alone, and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before.
I know all of your tapes by heart at this point.
Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go. Let's go.
Maybe a bit later.
Should I tell you how it ends?
Let's leave that for tomorrow.
I won't tell you tomorrow. I know. Let's play hide and seek.
No, Olia.
Then draw me a dino.
Olia, please.
Draw it. Draw it.
Will you leave me alone already? I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Olia stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olia from crying. Alright, you win. Let's go watch your cartoons for a bit.
I don't wanna.
I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan.
Boo, you'll fall asleep again.
I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And I'll draw you a full Triceratops later.
Hooray! Triceratops.
Well, close enough. Olia rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face.
I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it.
Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again.
Wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it.
Olia disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Well, let's see. Piggy bank. Olia is saving money for real puppy because Dad said that taking care of him will take a lot of money. That's true. The scary window where Olia sees that accursed owl every night lurking in the dark. Olia keeps curtains open during the day, but as soon as the twilight comes she shuts them tight, so she won't see the pair of hungry eyes outside. Hungry eyes. Oh, my throat is dead. Can't even sing anymore. Olia's countless toys. An old teddy bear is the main attraction here. Olia doesn't sleep without it, and she digs her nose into its fur when she sleeps. I don't like the noise it makes. Turn on TV. The old photon TV was gathering dust in the corner. I used to have one of these! Oh my god! All that was left was clicking button on the front panel. The tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. Oh no, please don't do that. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. Oh, I don't know, static makes me weird. It just gave me goosebumps all over my back and my arms. Oh. It was a dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Oh. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Oh, did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Oh, thank you, God. Oh. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olia had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her, but in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. I am going to search for the tape, sorry. I want to be there for my sister. I sifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kindersurprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. Right, I got the black rectangle from its box. Neverland achievement. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. This rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. No, please. Images rolled in my head, and me and Olia flying above the forest, tumbling into the soft clouds. My little sister's laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed that the clouds underneath us part, burying the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us, Olia. Oh.
You haven't started without me, have you?
My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rolled my eyes. No, come sit.
Mom and Dad are arguing again.
They're going through some rough times.
Rough times are lame.
PN on the screen? PN? Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's... Oh, on the screen, right, it's just a typo. Because they're Russian, right, so it would be like different... Their alphabet's different, so it probably makes sense. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into the dresser. Olia was entertained by the cartoonish dog Nana.
Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too?
Yeah, right.
I'll have my own dog in the Neverland, and a cat, and a parrot.
Olia smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me. I've never done that, actually. I wonder if it's sweetened or unsweetened. But sweetened condensed milk, I can understand, would be really good as a spread, if you like sweet stuff on your bread. I might have to make some of that now. I mean, I don't have it, but I might have to. What if I make pumpkin spice bread and smear that with sweetened condensed milk? Ooh.
Have you lost all of your baby teeth?
Obviously. Olia frowned deep in thought.
Peter Pan has baby teeth. What if they won't let go? What if they won't let you go to his land with adult teeth?
We'll think of something.
We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport.
Why would Dad forge documents? Olia took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full.
Whoa! I've heard Mom say that he did that before.
You grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Olia got worried and touched her ear, smiled to herself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured her bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook. As if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ever ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sound of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality.
Tony, shut the curtains fast!
Why? No one's watching you.
It's dark. When it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared.
I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Close them. Oof. I did my best not to look outside towards the treetops, towards the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. And of course, it was just a visual effect from the shadows of branches scraping the snow.
Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up. And Dad too. Thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly it does. Do you believe me, right? That it comes every night and...
I swiftly grabbed Olia's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, alright? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come, and tell me if anything happens. And don't look out the window.
But it wants me to look.
Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. It was madness, but after everything that's happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe Olia's owl existed. Wow. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olia's eyelids had dropped. She started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Olia's room. No, you shouldn't leave her. The owl's gonna get her, I bet you. I was looking out of the window, studying the field, when Mum peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Wow. Actually, that was one thing I wasn't teased for. Daydreaming, yes, but not being sleepy. Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me, right? I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming, to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just a part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into a slumber. True detective achievement. Oh, that's it. Oh, that's it. Thank you for completing episode 1 of Tiny Bunny. Did you enjoy it? Do you want to know what happens next? We're already working hard on the continuation of the story. Right, so it is a proper prologue. That's interesting. Cool. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you want to see the full story, I'd be interested to know if you would like to see it. And I am very intrigued, so I'm definitely going to play it for myself regardless. But let me know if you want to see it, and I will continue playing it for you. It's really interesting, really intriguing, and I do want to know whether it's all in their heads or not, and how they are going to develop this story. I'm intrigued. It's really good. My throat hurts, but it's really good. It's interesting. So yeah, let me know what you think as always, and I'll see you when I see you.